Tony Barco está aquí con nosotros. Tony, ¿cómo está?
¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás?
Muy bien, ¿y usted?
Más o menos.
El Board Secretary, Edcouch, Elsa.
Edcouch, yes, sir.
¿Qué tanto tiempo tiene siendo el Board Secretary?
Tengo aproximadamente 2 años.
2 años.
Sí.
Órale. ¿So apenas le pegaste?
Pues tengo el secretario, pero I've served 12 years.
12 years?
8 consecutive y 4 before that. Solo que total son 12 años.
City manager, City of La Villa. Didn't I see you on Channel 5 or something? One of those
Sí,
on the news. Something was going on in La Villa. ¿Qué estaba pasando?
Pues, diferentes cosas que nos hacen interview. Positive things with the city.
Yeah. Yeah, man. How is it going? How is La Villa doing in Edcouch, Elsa, and that whole area? You know, I always wondered why it stayed kind of stagnant for so many years, being on 107. And then the sugar mill was right down the street, and they closed that up. That was a form of jobs for the local community there, ¿verdad?
Pues fíjate que, yes and no. En La Villa había como unos 6 employees del City of La Villa, pero most of the people that worked out there era from different areas, different cities. Not so much from Delta area. Say yeah, Delta area, but probably not even 50%.
Has it been like that for ever since it? Because the sugar mill's been there for years, ¿verdad?
For years. Initially, there was quite a few people working out of the Delta area, pero as time went by, más y más era de otras partes que venían.
Sí. Yeah. What do you think was the cause of that? Why would they bring people from other places?
Well, not too many people wanted to work, do that kind of work.
Yeah.
Solo que I think that was the main reason, pero y ahora el último pues era like a water.
En los 70s es cuando todos estaban listos para jalar donde quiera, donde sea, whatever it took, ¿verdad?
Yes, and I mean, they worked for quite a while, so even though era temporarily, pero
during the sugar cane season.
Pero duraba más en la temporada. Ahora el último ya no duraba mucho. Se fue disminuyendo el tiempo y entre más y más. Solo
And it's finally gone.
It's gone, and again, fue por lack of water.
Yeah, that situation going on with Mexico that owes us acreage of water, and you know,
and there's no really. I doubt that they will release any water anytime soon. The only way they'll release them is that there's a big flood out there, and they have to release the water. But other than that, I don't see them doing it.
I was watching. I've always been a news junkie. You know, when CNN first came out, it was just like a 30-minute newscast, and it would repeat every 30 minutes. And if there was a new story, they would interject it into the second half hour, or whatever. And you know, I would be watching it, and I'd watch PBS when I was a kid. You know, I just loved information. And I remember it was like 1984, maybe 82, 83. They were talking with some scientists, and they were talking about the year 2025. And they were talking about the wars, and, you know, what would the wars be? Right. And they were saying that there were going to be wars in 2025, but they weren't going to be for oil. They were going to be for water. And then that happens, right? And I'm like, wow, you know.
Yeah, they were right.
Yeah, and they one of their examples was the Nile River that goes through Egypt and through like 3 different countries. Right. And one of the countries can put a dam and just stop the flow going into the next country. And then, you know, it ends up becoming a war. So that was pretty interesting, you know, that I remember seeing that as a child on PBS, and then seeing these water deals going on.
And really, that's what's happening with Rio Grande, porque it extends all the way from Colorado, and people are damming it up, or the tributaries that go into the Rio Grande, they're damming those up. That's what Mexico has done.
Yeah.
So,
man, I wonder what's going to be the ultimate. You know, because I mean, the sugar cane is gone. It's never going to be back, is it?
No, I doubt it. In fact, agriculture has diminished quite a bit in the Rio Grande Valley. It used to be the number 1 crop, number 1 as far as the economy was concerned. Pero
And then we used to have citrus too. It was a big citrus,
citrus,
agriculture,
vegetables. I mean, you name it. It was here.
Yeah,
especially in the Delta area. That's why it was so fertile. You know.
And then La Villa got that prison. Was that a big thing for La Villa?
Well, it is because La Villa receives a good portion of their budget, annual budget, comes from the prison. I would venture to say that if it wasn't for those funds, it would be very, very difficult for the city to sustain itself.
So you were born and raised there in La Villa, or?
No. Originally, I was born just north of Hargill.
Hargill?
Elsa County.
Órale.
And went to school up to 4th grade in La Sara.
Fíjate.
Pero we started migrating porque there was a whole bunch of us. And
how many were in your family?
Well, total at the end, there was 17 boys and girls, and my dad and mama.
That's incredible, big families.
Ahorita somos 14 hermanos y hermanas.
Wow, that is amazing. And this was during the 50s, right? I mean, you're from 49, ¿verdad? Something like that?
48.
48.
Pero yeah, we started migrating in the 50s because we found out, we went out 1 year and we made some decent money compared to what we would make in El Rancho where I was born. Solo que after 1 year, the farmer says, well, if you leave again, you won't have a house to live in.
Okay.
So that's when we moved to Elsa.
Órale.
Back como el 57, por ahí.
57.
Yeah.
¿Y tu papá y tu mamá, they started working there in Elsa? Or
well, eran farm workers. Mi padre,
they continue migrating?
Sí, mi padre y mi madre nunca fueron a la escuela. No tenían ni de escuela. Eran de México,
sí.
Guanajuato.
Las momias.
Sí, de San Felipe, Guanajuato.
Wow.
So they migrated up north. Se vinieron recién casados. Mother was 13, 14 years old, and dad was 17, 18. And they walked all the way en burros y andando. Took them a year to get from Guanajuato, San Felipe, to Comales.
Wow.
And sister was born en route coming down, and then two sisters, the older sisters of mine, were born in Comales. They worked at I don't know if you've heard about Sugar Lake.
Okay.
Ahí estuvieron 3 años trabajando, and then they came across and to Hargill, just north of Hargill, and that's where most of us, or a whole bunch of us, were born. Pero estábamos illegals, really, porque mis padres no arreglaron. They didn't become naturalized citizens until 1953. And some of us, like me, were born here, pero we weren't naturalized yet, or la familia, you know.
Yeah.
So it was very difficult growing up.
I can imagine. 17 brothers and sisters.
Pero we were happy.
Yeah.
Porque we didn't know any better. No había luz, no había running water out there.
And everyone survived.
Yeah, it was a way of life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People don't understand how to struggle anymore, really.
No, hombre, era ese tiempo, pues ya ahorita people don't really, if you talk to them about it, they really probably don't believe you.
Yeah.
You know, what we went through, pero it was difficult, but again, most of the Mexicanos que estábamos vivíamos muy similar. So all of us thought it was normal. You know. A lot of discrimination at the time también, and up north with migrating. We were gone since April, and we came back in December. So we were going up north, different states, for 8 months.
Yeah.
So it was difficult, 3, 4, 5 schools in a year.
And what would you all travel in up there? Such a big family. Like, tenía troques? Or?
No, una troquita en 1950.
Y todos atrás, vámonos.
Chevrolet, una cajita y con su lona y toda la cosa.
Hey. And everybody, no tenía, y ahí le ponieron camper de rato, algo, no remember the camper.
Nunca compramos campers, no. Era una caja de madera que hizo dad.
Wow.
Y su lona.
Yeah.
So ahí íbamos, todos cabíamos ahí.
That generation, it's like, they knew.
Era caravanas de gente, familias, 2, 3 hermanos, ahí íbamos allá. So it was fun.
Yeah.
We enjoyed it.
Sí.
So
yeah.
We didn't know any better. So.
And you were absorbing the culture and what it was to work and survive.
Yeah,
and adversity. I mean, and
it was so different back then porque allá los güeros, gringos, farmers, they worked alongside you. Los owners del farm trabajaban contigo. Los hijos, las hijas. And so it was different. Aquí estabas en el classroom, los güeros no te saludaban, didn't even say hi to you. And Edcouch, Elsa. So it was difficult. Pero it was normal. It wasn't like, just regular stuff for us.
Yeah. It didn't keep you from excelling or doing what you had to do to survive.
Well,
right?
Survive, maybe not excelling in our thing, porque no había, at the time, we had one, like Edcouch also had one counselor, and she era Mexicano, most of us Mexicanos, her guidance as far as when you left high school was, you can be a good mechanic, you can be a good barber. Los girls they didn't have to go to college; they would become housewives. Era
that was the traditional stuff.
Yeah, that's what you would tell. Pero era a los mexicanos nomás, porque a los güeros, los gringos, it was different. Yeah. So, but again, in spite of all that, many of us were able to get our education and have excelled in our fields. And done fairly well for our family.
What kind of, when you graduated from high school, what year was that? About 60-some?
67.
67?
Yes.
It was right in the Vietnam War. Or did you
I served 3 years. I went to school at Pan Am for a year and a half because my parents didn't want me going to the war with them. And because many were going out there and weren't coming back.
Yeah.
Y todos estábamos jóvenes. And so I went to school at Pan Am for a year and a half, and then we couldn't afford it. Simply as that. We could not afford it, so I dropped out. And a month later, I get a letter, greetings. You've been drafted, yes. So I served 3 years, and it was sort of a blessing, even though I didn't know it at the time. But because of that, I came back and couldn't find a job in the valley, so I went up. Me and my wife, I was married by then. Me and my wife and a daughter went up to Michigan, and because that's where we used to migrate, and my parents were up there. And I started working with this nonprofit organization, porque I knew a little bit of English. I was bilingual, sort of. And so there was a program there through that particular program that paid for your tuition and books and all that kind of stuff. And I was a veteran, so okay, I stayed up there 3 years, got my degree, and then my father and a brother passed away, and I came back home to help my mother raise my younger brothers and sisters.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was, pero pues, there was something again that was expected of us, and me especially being the oldest of the hombres,
You became the patriarch, one of the...
Sort of, because I was the oldest and I had the most education, and then I got into a friend of mine, in fact, el papá de Rolly Lozano.
Oh yeah, Rolly. He was here on the show.
Yeah, he got me involved in politics, and I ran for office. And
what year was that?
That was like 1977, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was 10 years old about that time. Yeah.
So I've been serving off and on. I was mayor in Elsa for a couple of times. Served there like 13 years or so, municipal judge, and then the last 12 years or so. At the Edcouch School Board trustee. So.
Man, you've dedicated your life to public service practically.
Yes, I have, and I've enjoyed it. To me, it's a lot of people say politics is not good, it's dirty, on a whole bunch of stuff. To me, being a elected official, it's sort of like a vehicle in you helping other folks, other people, better their lives. So they see it as a vehicle to improve the livelihood of others. And
it's just interesting. We were talking the other day about, the Rio Grande Valley, how corruption gets involved in politics a lot of times. And we always see people getting arrested that are serving in public office and stuff like that. And it's good to see a person like you that has integrity, and goes in and I guess your upbringing has a lot to do with it, ¿verdad? I mean,
yeah, I would say so, because we were never taught to be greedy or want more than what we could afford, and what we had was you had to earn You had to earn what you got. And again, my dad, mother never went to school. They were simple folks, simple parents, and like many around us. But they believed a lot in, como dice la gente más antes, palabra, respeto. Seremos pobres, pero tenemos palabra, tenemos respeto. If we follow those consejos, no echas malas.
You know, the respect among students in school has changed quite a bit from when we were growing up, ¿verdad?
It's diminished quite a bit.
Yeah.
Ya el respeto, to me, it's non-existent.
And it starts at the very young age. I mean, there's kids in elementary that are talking so ugly to their teachers and
to their parents.
Yeah, and sometimes the parents are like they absorb it from their parents, as well. Yeah. So it's always people don't understand the strength of being a good example, and teaching by what you do, and it seems like back when we were in school, when I was in school, if you were disrespectful, there was accountability, And I think, in my opinion, I think accountability, I don't know how strong that is of a word in our education system nowadays, because they used to send us home.
And I think that's the main problem. There's no accountability. You hit it. I mean, you said it perfectly. There's no accountability for the actions of one takes. And so people think that they can get away with just about anything. And I don't know how that happened, but that's been happening for years now.
I think a lot of it has to do with lawsuits and stuff too, because people are real quick to sue, and then a school district gets married in a lawsuit, and they don't want to have to go through all the freaking legal stuff, and so it's an out of court settlement or whatever, and a lot of people just whatever little thing they want to sue, and so it people are walking on eggshells as far as accountability, discipline. I mean, that's just what I'm feeling. I don't know what you think about that.
Yeah, me too. And I talked to my partner here, Chris, a teacher, and it is a very difficult job. In our time, it was different. You got punished for what you did, or and it was expected. And nowadays, it's like there's no consequences, and it's I feel for this new generations and the generations that are coming up. If this continues, really, I think we've lost the family values that we believe in, that us the older folks here believe in, and were raised with those values. In spite of, like in my case, in spite of my parents not being educated, they believe in respect and treating people right, helping people out when they needed help, not waiting to be asked that they need help. If you see somebody that needs a helping hand, go out there and provide that hand. Don't wait. Do it. And now even when they ask, they don't help. I mean, it's cada quien pasa,
Yeah.
So look, it's very difficult for some of us when we see those kind of things. But we have to sort of change our ways sometimes, but you have to be careful that you don't overdo it, because you lose all that you've lived all your life.
Yeah.
So then, who are you? Who are we?
Yeah.
So you have to be very careful, but you have to sort of evolve in some respect with what's happening nowadays with the younger generations, but never losing your identity. You are. So, and that's what I believe in. I think people that know me see that in me, that I'm not one to change. Como dicen, what you see is what you. I mean, who I am.
You gotta be you.
So
you can't be fake.
And that's why I'm running. Because I feel that I am very much committed to improving the education of our children and bettering the wages of our employees, our teachers especially.
Yes.
And improving the Edcouch School District as a whole. Porque all my family literally has graduated from high school. I have 4 or 3 great-grandchildren right now in school, and one grandson who is a senior.
What a blessing.
Yeah, solo que that's the main reason why I'm there.
Did you ever get to, I'm sure you knew Benny Layton, ¿verdad?
He was a good friend. Tony, his older brother, graduated with my classmate. Mm-hmm. In fact, we have a class reunion Saturday.
Wow, how many years?
Well,
okay, let's see. Wow, man, yes, amazing.
And Tony is.
Congratulations, Tony.
Yeah, so
that's awesome, man.
So we've had a good time, and I've enjoyed being on this board, working with younger trustees that they're supposed to learn from us, but
you're mentoring them, man.
But in a way, but there's so many things that I'm learning from them, you know, and that's why I enjoy being on that board, on our board.
I'm glad there's somebody like you on that board because you need that, 1977, what is that, 40-something, 7 years ago? Yeah, 47 years? You're almost 50 years in public service.
Almost, and yeah, pero ya ando.
You know, vas a retire.
I don't know. I retired from the county last year, and
how did that go for you, man? ¿Te hicieron una pachanga o algo, Tony?
I was given a beautiful despedida by a county judge and county commissioner's court.
Qué bonito.
Proclamation. Even Mayor Villalobos from the city of McAllen gave me a proclamation as well. So
that's awesome.
Not too many employees of the county do receive those proclamations.
Pero no te puedes quedar sentado tú.
No, well,
you have that. I mean, since you were a kid. I mean, look at your upbringing. You got to be doing something.
I tried it for a few months, but I was having breakfast one morning with one of my sons and Elsa, and then along came a couple of city councilmen de la Villa. 2 weeks later, I'm working in La Villa, and I said I wasn't going to work anymore.
Yeah, no, you have to. You're just built that way.
Yeah, you're
built that way, man.
I'm enjoying my life and what I do. I really enjoy helping others.
And you're doing it at your own pace right now, right? I mean, there ain't no big rush, and you know what I need. The I's need to get dotted, and the T's need to get crossed.
It's just let me work.
Yeah,
let me do my work.
But a ti no se te pasa nada, Tony. I'm for sure for that, man. I mean, they can't pull a fast one on you, bro. You've been around a long time, bro.
We've lived a long time and
working the public service a long time.
Yes.
Yeah, that's amazing, man.
I've enjoyed it.
When you got that letter, going back to your draft letter, what was the first feeling you got?
I was scared.
You were scared?
Yes.
Can imagine.
Yes, mostly, and especially when you see your mother, especially your mom, just looking at her, and it was difficult. It was difficult.
And when you got to draft, a week later, you had to be where, in California, or
no?
They fly you somewhere?
I was. It
was the Vietnam War back then, right?
Yes, I was in El Paso for 4 months taking basic training.
Fort Bliss, I think it's called.
Fort Bliss, yes, yes.
And
then to West Virginia, AIT training. Then the whole battalion was going to Vietnam. So I was one of the lucky ones that. We were in Oakland, California, 4 months waiting to be shipped out to Vietnam. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, they started de-escalating the war. And we were sent back to Savannah, Georgia, and that's where I spent my time. Mm-hmm. So, but every day, you never knew that they could call you up. Yeah, so it was nerve-wracking, I guess. Pero I was lucky that I didn't get to go, even though I wanted to go because some friends of mine were out there. And to us, you're young, you're 19, 20-year-old, and you want to. It was like an adventure, that you want to experience, not knowing the consequences of that. So
the adrenaline that comes with it.
Yeah. So now, throughout the years, as I've thought about it, I'm glad that I didn't go because I lost a few friends that I knew. They didn't come back.
Yeah.
So it was, and some came back and they were really messed up.
It was a thankless war.
It was, yes.
The soldiers came back and they weren't celebrated or anything like that, or thanked.
We came back, and even when you were like in Savannah, Georgia, mostly blacks and a few Mexicanos, and the white folks out there didn't respect you for anything. I mean, you were nobody. Mm-hmm. So now I see a lot of soldiers coming back. They have parades and stuff like that. None of us that I remember got any kind of welcome.
Yeah,
you just came back and you were just another soldier. Mm-hmm. So
I've always been part of stuff with veterans, and I participated, and I strongly believe all these cultures and deals that get a whole month, and then the veterans get one day, Memorial Days one day. And whenever I'm on stage with my band, I always say, it should be every day, Veterans Day and Memorial Day. And on Memorial Day, they have an event here in McAllen, and I've taken my dad, and one time I took him, and we go through the services and everything, and then we go and we walk around, and we went to the Vietnam Wall, and my dad recognized a lot of
names out there. Yeah,
and he called them by their nicknames. Este andaba por el, because my dad didn't go serve or anything, but este le decíamos que sabe, era aquí está el nombre de, and he would say like the nickname, because back then eran puros nicknames.
Sí, todos tenían nicknames. Teníamos,
Sí. ¿A cuál era tu nickname, Tony?
A mí me decían Boat.
Boat. Barco. Tony Barco.
Sí.
Boat. Boat.
Y no me gustaba, me peleaba acá y cuando. No me gustaba que me dijeran Boat. Pero a few good friends still call me that.
Yeah. So,
pero no, yo respeto mucho también los people that served, and porque at the time we believed in our country, even though eran Mexicanos, and we weren't treated like U.S. citizens, pero yet we served the country because we believed in doing that.
Yeah,
protecting our country, our people.
Those are Latinos, bro. I mean, aquí en el Valle, tantos que go to the military, man, and we've lost. This area has lost a lot of kids, a lot of soldiers.
Yeah, most of the time, most of the Mexicanos eran young, 18, 19-year-olds, and todos iban para infantry, y por eso eran los que morían más.
Sí, los avientaban primero.
Yeah.
When you were there serving, were you taught any skill or anything like that?
I had to enlist for one more year to go to each school, airframe repairman.
Okay.
So I learned some skills out there, and that I didn't want to be an infantryman. I felt that I could do better. So
I'll help fix a plane or something. Pelo papas en la cocina.
Pero I had to enlist for one more year. So that me costó un año.
Sí.
Pero I'm glad I did. So it was a good experience. I realized during my 3 years being in service, me di cuenta cosas que I had never seen or thought of, because we were so naive. I was anyway. In many things, especially when people discriminated against us.
Pues éramos del rancho, bro.
Sí.
Éramos del rancho ahí in Argyle, Texas, you know what I mean?
We thought everything was normal.
Yeah, that was our world, and then you go out there and there's a whole other world.
But you get older, you see things out there, and oh my God, this is what they were doing to us. Mm-hmm. And it's hard, it's difficult when you think about it. A mí me molesta mucho.
Sí.
And especially with my parents, que ellos pobrecitos que no sabían hablar inglés, decían cosas and nomás se rían.
Yeah.
Porque they didn't know what they were being told. Mm-hmm. And están los chiquillos, so we didn't understand either. Pero now that I do,
well, the good thing is that didn't keep you from, being productive and and having a beautiful career and still serving. I mean,
I feel
it's adversity that sometimes gives us character. We have to go through certain things in life. Nothing's ever going to be rosy or peachy. There's going to be people that hate us. There's going to be people that love us, and we just have to, accept the ones we want and not accept the ones we don't.
Y pues no estamos para complacer a cualquiera. Yo conformaba o complacía a mi madre, a mi esposa, a mi familia. And los demás, les guste o no les guste, a mí no me mantiene.
What you see is what you get.
Solo que, porque you get caught up in that. And,
¿Te quedas en un charco?
Ándale, ahí te hallan.
Pero tú eres un barco, no te vas a caer en el charco mucho.
No nos ondeamos muy fácil.
Man, Tony Barco, it's been an awesome time talking to you. And you're running for school board secretary, ¿verdad?
No, not secretary for the place two.
Place two?
Yes.
School board trustee también, or just school board?
No.
Okay.
Sí, nomás que during the course of your tenure there, every year you nominate within the 7 members, nominate each other, say, for chairman of the board, secretary, vice chairman. Those are the 3 officers.
Okay.
So it's every year or as many years, as often as they want to, but at least 1 year that you serve. Next year, different nominations. So you sort of rotate, you know. Pero, no, I'm proud to have served as chairman, ahorita secretary, and just being a trustee is good enough for me.
Really? Ladies and gentlemen, make sure to go out, vote. Early voting is going on right now, and then election day is November 5th. It's on a Tuesday, and Tony, once again, is running for school board trustee in Edcouch, Elsa, the city of Edcouch, Elsa, along with Chris Morales and Rolly Lozano and
Robert Smalls.
Robert Smalls. So that's the group that you need to vote for, and I appreciate you, Tony. Me da mucho gusto y un placer en conocerte, y muchas gracias for serving our country and for everything you've done for our people.
I want to thank you for allowing us this opportunity to be here, and hopefully people will listen or hear what we had to say here.
Well, you had an amazing story.
And understand that we are very sincere in what we're trying to do here for the school board at Edcouch EEISD.
Es todo.
So thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Muchas gracias, Tony. Dios te bendiga.
Igualmente.
Asústame one time.
Eso.